And the thing with Gina is she's a real feminist. I mean, feminists, they tell us we want strong women. You know, we want women that can, you know, really throw a punch. And we want women that, you know, are empowered and independent. And then you get Gina Carano come along. She's an MMA fighter. She is very, you know, relatively masculine in these movies. And they're like, oh, no, we can't have any of that. That's not acceptable. It's enraging. It's disgusting. And I'm really encouraged to see that Gina and a lot of people are getting behind Gina. In fact, Cancel Disney was trending #1 on the day I think it happened. It's great to see the Daily Wire throwing a punch. And the people, this seems like it's what the people want. A lot of people, even in the Star Wars community, have been very shocked by the cancelling of Gina. Let's move to the next topic. Talk radio legend Rush Limbaugh has recently died of cancer, unfortunately. Now, the importance of Rush Limbaugh cannot be understated. He basically pioneered, he broke ground on the podcasting services, on radio talk show hosting. Now, Rush was really imperative in that, and I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for Rush. I mean, he really broke ground in this area. And his contribution cannot be understated. In fact, I think he raised over $27 million over the course of his radio show for the same cancer that he's actually fighting now, which is really great to sort of fund the research for that. Unfortunately, we sort of saw the true colours of people here. We saw Hollywood celebrating Rush Limbaugh's death, which is disgusting. I mean, they ended up saying stuff like cancer killed the cancer. This is a man that made a significant contribution to the country. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg died in, I think, October last year, everyone, I mean, we even saw Trump's reaction to it. He got it live on camera, and he hadn't heard it, and they broke the news to him, and he said, look, she was a brilliant lady, she lived a great life. He didn't say, oh, you know, good riddance to her. He didn't say that. He said she lived a lovely life. She was a true feminist, one that pioneered sort of the inroads into you know, the judicial system, and she really made it easier for other women to enter the system. Like that, why can't we do that now? Rules for thee, but not for me. Maybe that's why. The next topic has been really topical the last few days. It's been the fact that Facebook has deplatformed Australia. Now, it's a very shocking incident that's actually made international news. This isn't a topic I don't have all the answers on, guys, and I don't, you know, I don't have a solid position on it yet. This article was written by Cauldron Pool, Evelyn Ray, which has been really good in educating the world on what's really been going on. Evelyn Ray's really a phenomenal journalist, guys. I definitely, and writer, I definitely get behind her and follow her on her social media. She wrote this article about Facebook basically getting rid of all social media, and this includes things such as emergency services for government content, all Australian news content, local news, international. It can't be shared internationally either. Why is this happening? Well, as you may have heard, it's due to the News Media and Digital Platforms Mandatory Bargaining Code Bill of 2020, which would force Facebook to pay news organisations for content that publishers voluntarily place on their platform. What does this mean, basically? Well, this legislation has been put forward because a lot of news organisations, they don't feel like they're being paid their fair share of the news they put on Facebook. Recently, the Murdoch Media and a number of other media organisations, I think Channel 7 as well, they reached a deal with Google, who had a similar problem, and you know they're sort of in negotiations, and they came to a solution on that. But with Facebook, they're really digging their heels on this, guys, and they're really flexing their muscles right now by banning on all of this and showing they can do it. In fact, even our friend Monica Smith over at Reignite Democracy, that page was also banned, which is great because it sort of means that she's, you know, a journalist, so they recognise that, and so I don't know why police would arrest her, but it's sad because she's also getting caught up in this net. What does this code do? Well, basically, the argument from these media organisations is that when we share news to your channels, when we share news to Facebook at this platform, and we give you content to go on there to sort of channel people on, we should be getting paid for that, and we're not getting paid for it. so what are you doing? Basically, that's what they're saying. And this is an issue where I don't know whose side to take, because I don't know if people like Monica Smith are going to be paid for their work. The prices that are derived aren't even derived by sort of the market. They're sort of done by a government institution. I think the ACCC, I'm not sure. Maybe check me on that. But it's really concerning, and but it's also really funny. I mean, if you go to the comments from federal MP George Christensen, as seen in Evelyn Ray's article on Cauldron Pool, he basically said, "I don't like the censorship, but now that the news media has a taste of what it's like to be deplatformed, they might fight for online speech for conservatives a little bit more." And then he said, "I won't hold my breath, though." The double standard, besides, he basically also said that if Australia folds in response to Facebook's demands, the message will be pretty clear. A big tech company holds more influence than a sovereign government with the world's 18th largest GDP. That should scare you. And it should scare you. I mean, we've been warning about this for weeks and months and years. You know, just on this show, I've grown sick of discussing the topic of censorship because it's so predacious in the culture wars. It's disgusting. So how do you combat that? Well, that's a great question. I don't know whose side to take on this, guys. I really don't. I don't like the fact that the government will be deriving how much these news organizations, a lot of them being fake news, can be paid by another even bigger organization. I don't like that. Not at all. But I also don't like the fact that Facebook has, as it said, more power than a sovereign government, with the 18th biggest GDP globally. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is going to be very interesting going forward. And what do I think is going to happen? I think Facebook obviously will come to the table again. I think that the government will win on this, unfortunately. But how do you chart a way forward? I'm not sure. I don't have all the answers. I think this will be an insane future that we're going into. All I can see is a big spiral down. Let's move on. What solutions can be put forward for it? I just wanted to point out before we move on, can I just say that it's awfully convenient that Facebook blocked Australian news today, considering the government was seriously on the back foot with allegations of rape that came up this week. And obviously that I'm referring to a staffer that was allegedly raped by another staffer in a Liberal Party MP's office. Now, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying it's awfully convenient. It wasn't looking good for the government. It really wasn't. And frankly, if I'm being honest, it was a little bit scary to see exactly what was going on there. Now, what else did we see this week? We saw a federal MP, a Liberal MP, Craig Kelly, booted from Facebook for a week over his COVID-19 posts. A sitting member banned for a week. Can you imagine if they banned him a week out from the election? Can you imagine that? It's disgusting. And on top of that, many of you probably already know, Facebook also deleted Pete Evans' Instagram account. Disgusting. And look who wrote it. The AAP wrote that article. I bet they were very, very happy over there. And as you know, the AAP has targeted both me and Ricardo on this very show. And it's been very frustrating because it's the first instance I've seen, and I can prove, of the AAP targeting this show. And it's been just... Because what do they do with these fact checks, guys? They derank our content. They basically tell Facebook, watch out, these people are inciting violence and you need to keep them on the wraps. It's disgusting. It really is. This is the sort of stuff that Facebook bans. This is a Happy Valentine's Day card, which says, "You stole my heart like a 2020 election." And Facebook put a little tab at the bottom saying, "The claim of election fraud is disputed and the tweet cannot be replied to, retweeted, or liked due to a risk of violence." Can you believe that? It's literally a Valentine's Day card. This is the sort of thing they're censoring.